virtual too.
The planning.
Guys, I think we're on.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready? I'd like to welcome everyone to this evening's meeting on this
Not yet.
very pleasant Tuesday evening, October 6, 2020. This is the 17th meeting of the Board of Directors
He posted this.
during 2020. So
Oh, she got him.
we got some of our board members are remote, and but we'll go ahead and ask for Ezekiel Capaci to come forward with the invocation, and we'll follow that with a pledge. Please rise.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the people here gathered together, and please give them wisdom as they discuss the issues of this city. I pray for this city. I pray that it gets better, and I pray that improvements will be made. I pray that just for the meeting tonight and all that's going on, and in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
I
to
can't
the
hear.
republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Director Aaron Holliday.
Here.
Director Elaine Jones.
Here.
Director Becca Clark. Here. Director Carol Weatherford.
Here.
Director Karen Garcia.
Here.
Director Randy Foley.
Here.
Mayor Pat McCabe.
Here. So many of you who were looking around the room, so we do have 4 who are remote, and the 3 of us here are obviously in chambers. So at this time, we'll consider approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda or items to be moved from consent agenda to new business?
Mr. Mayor, this is Randy Foley. I would request that we remove item number 6, I believe it is, in the consent agenda item, resolution 2144, to new business, please.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second to move those to new business. We don't really have to vote on that. We just kind of concur.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
motion to approve. Amended.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and move that to the first item of new business. So number 6 on the consent agenda becomes the first item of new business. Okay, so any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
So moved.
Director
Second.
Weatherford, seconded by Director Foley. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Agenda as amended is approved. Now we'll consider approval of the minutes of a regular scheduled meeting held on September 15, 2020. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion by Director Clark, seconded by
Second.
Director Weatherford. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. We have some recognition of guests via proclamation, and I'd ask Susan Millard, Ashley Thompson, and her group to come forward, please. And I'll read the proclamation. City of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Whereas the family is the foundation of a safe and healthy community, and it is the goal of this community for our families to be safe. And whereas the problem of domestic violence is not confined to any group of people, but crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers, and is sustained by indifference. And whereas nearly 20 people per minute are victims of domestic violence by a domestic partner in the U.S., totaling 10 million women and men per year. And whereas 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner within his or her lifetime. And whereas 3 to 10 million children are witness to domestic violence in their homes, and research has shown children who witness domestic violence and do not get help are more likely to become victims or perpetrators of future abuse. And whereas nearly 3 out of 4 Americans personally know someone who is or has been a victim of domestic violence. And now, therefore, I, Pat McCabe, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the City of Hot Springs, do hereby proclaim October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Hot Springs. And we urge community members to take this opportunity to educate themselves about the impact of domestic violence in Hot Springs and to become familiar with the resources and programs available. This month, let us remember the victims of domestic violence, celebrate the survivors, and work together to end domestic violence in our community. A witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed on the 6th day of October in the year of our Lord 2020. So I'll present this to Ms. Millard, and she has a few words, and others will speak as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about what we consider a very real problem in our community. I'm a member of the Domestic Violence Task Force along with Ashley Thompson, our co-chair, and we've been meeting for a number of years, and until recently we have had limited services within our community. And it was really important for us to continue this tradition of recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We usually have a big shindig out at the college, but because of COVID, we were so grateful that Emergent Arts allowed for us to have the Silent Witness Project at Aaron Holliday's art gallery. And so we were there, and if you have opportunity to go by and see it, it's really quite moving. I thought tonight what would be very helpful would be to get some people within our community that are actually providing services to our victims of domestic violence. It's hard to believe that within homes right now in Hot Springs, Arkansas, violence is occurring. We see it in the paper every day. But I've got 2 people with me. Ashley Thompson from Ouachita Children, Youth, and Family Services, and Tracy Childress from the Child Advocacy Center. If they could have a minute or 2 apiece, that would be great to talk about what they're doing. And Amy, are you doing? I'm sorry, Amy Higgins. I'm sorry.
Good evening. Thank you for having us this evening. I'm Ashley Thompson. I'm Resource Development Director at Ouachita Children, Youth, and Family Services. This is Amy Higgins. She's Clinical Director at Ouachita Children, Youth, and Family Services. Most know us as Ouachita Children's Center, but we've expanded. Part of our expansion is our new Domestic Violence Shelter and Advocacy Center. We call that Ouachita Family Center because we're serving women, children, and their families in our shelter. We have 19-bed shelter. Right now we have 12 women and children that are staying with us. A lot of talk has been happening about the effects COVID and quarantine and isolation have had on people who are stuck in the house together, especially women and children who are experiencing domestic violence. And we have seen an influx in calls, not necessarily an influx in shelter services, but what that means is we have provided shelter for these women and children, but we serve in an outreach capacity men, women, and children through our intake office. Amy can tell you a little bit more about our services at Ouachita Family Center.
So some of the things that we do is we provide, we accompany victims to court. They may call and just say, hey, I don't want to go to the shelter, but I've got to go to court, and I just want somebody to sit with me. So we do that. We have a therapist on staff, and she sees people free of charge that are involved in a domestic violence situation. We also have support groups once a month that is actually going on at this very moment. Those numbers are increasing. We recently got a grant to help women that we serve that when they're ready to leave the shelter, but they're not quite ready financially to be on their own, then we can help them with what's called transitional housing, and we're able to help them find a place and pay for their rent until they're able to get back on their feet. We do have a child advocate that works down at the shelter, so that she works strictly with the children to help with them. And anyone can come, like she said, men, women, it doesn't matter, can come into our intake office and receive outreach services, help with attorney fees, help with attorneys, therapy, court advocacy, just a wide variety of things. We do have a 24-hour hotline call number that people can access. And again, like I said, she said they don't have to come to the shelter. Just because you call us doesn't mean you go to the shelter. One of the unique things, real quick, about our shelter is that we don't have an age limit on children. You will find that a lot of domestic violence shelters say that if you have a male child over the age of 12, you can't come. We do not do that. We do not put an age limit on children.
Good, thank you.
Yes, I'm Tracy Childress. As many of you know, I'm the director of the Child Advocacy Center. Many of you know what the Child Advocacy Center provides here in the community, but for those of you who don't know, we are a responsive agency that is a holistic approach in the response in the fight against child abuse. And so we provide many components. We provide that forensic interviewing, that forensic medical, the advocacy component, and the mental health. And about 5 years ago, we rolled out our prevention program. What's happening currently with our Child Advocacy Center is, of course, with COVID, our prevention program, which is in the schools, has been hit because our prevention specialists have not been able to be in the school. But we worked around that, providing online for the children to continue to have this Body Safety Empower Me program. What is really how we've been impacted since March, that what we have seen is in 2019 we provided services over to 700 children. 19% of our cases were physical abuse cases. This year at this time, our cases that we have seen, we have seen 48% of our cases attributed to physical abuse cases. So a drastic increase in physical abuse cases that we're seeing. And so it is, we are so grateful that the governor early on made the Child Advocacy Centers of Arkansas essential and that we would keep our doors open. We have been very blessed to be able to continue these services because we know they are so much needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for the work you do. This time we'll hear from the city manager for his report. Mr. Burrow.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Just a few things. Our operations of utility billing services, finance, and city attorney began at our new facility, 324 Malvern Avenue, on September 21st. We had our budget meetings in the finance conference room throughout the last week, and although budget meetings are what they are, the proximity of the new building was very nice to be able to walk across the street and be able to do that. I also want to remind everyone about the new drive-through option at the utility billing center. It's underneath the building. You can access that from Broadway Terrace, but that's been something that we've heard from residents for several years that they'd like to see, and this facility does accommodate that. The Hope Works Homeless Litter Abatement and Job Experience Program also began on September 24th. This has been a program that's been needed for a long time and really took a long time to get off the ground. This should have taken place back in March, but with COVID, we worked our way through some of the issues that we had and the number of people that we could actually fit in a bus. But that program has started. We want to thank our partners with the Jackson House and all the work that they're doing. Crews, they've averaged about 8 people per day out doing litter abatement on our state highways and other areas of the city for 4 to 5 hours in the day. The ultimate goal is to connect with these individuals and really get them to a resource that might be able to help them with a hand up versus a handout, but basically try to help them in their situation as a disadvantaged resident and hopefully be able to get them to a resource or a program that could help them break the bonds of homelessness. We had several businesses call after its first week that saw them out on Albert Pike and just wanted to thank the city and the Jackson House and those that are involved in the program and those that are actually doing the work. They noticed it immediately, noticed an improvement immediately, and in less than 2 weeks, the crews that have worked through the Hope Works program picked up 1,940 pounds of litter. That's almost a ton of litter in the first 2 weeks, so we're very proud of the work they're doing. The installation of more than 1 million holiday lights has begun by our Parks and Trails crews, so we want to thank them. That's a monumental effort to get to the point to where we actually turn the lights on, and we've got a lot of staff working on that, and we appreciate them. The public still has the opportunity to help decorate the Public Art Mandela project at Linden Park. The weather's been beautiful, and all you need is your hands, creativity, because all the supplies are there located near the mandala, and you're free to have some artistry there. Boo with the Badge will take place at the Hot Springs High School from 5:30 to 8:30. This is a huge event that normally takes place around the fire department on Broadway, and I think it's even expanded over into the farmers market these past years. But our police department and fire department, they'll hold this Boo with the Badge at Hot Springs High School, 5:30 to 8:30 on October 31st. This will be a drive-through event, so we want to appreciate Dr. Nahus and Hot Springs High School for allowing us to hold that event there. And last week, Sergeant Lampton and Officer Murray responded to a critical incident and came in contact with a severely wounded individual. The two officers began to immediately treat the victim by applying a tourniquet and pressure. The officers' actions saved the life of this victim, and they should be commended for their actions. So we appreciate all that our officers do each and every day. And I'll end with an event that we're working. The city's working with the difference makers on a project. We were on the phone this morning trying to put the pieces together, and it's in partnership with UAMS again, and we'll hold a free COVID testing on October the 27th. It'll be at the Farmers Market Pavilion. One of the things that they'll be adding to this particular event is the ability to have a flu shot. If you get tested for COVID and you'd like a flu shot, you'll be able to receive a free flu shot as part of this program. We're still putting the final touches on it. One of the things that also came in today was our shower trailer. And that's something that we've worked very close with some of our organizations, St. Luke's Shower Ministry, and these are shower facilities that can be used for the homeless during some of these events like I just mentioned on October 27th. That's a population that we certainly want to make sure that they have the opportunity to be tested for COVID, have flu shots, and also have an opportunity to have some clean clothes and a clean shower. So we've been working on that, and it's been a couple of months that this has been on order. It's been back ordered due to the COVID, so it got here today. We haven't really checked it in, but we're glad to see it, and it'll be ready by October the 27th. Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll entertain announcements of upcoming events from our board of directors. Any director have an announcement of an upcoming event?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Director.
I would ask our city manager, I got a message from him and I voted, and the city had moved up to number 3. If you would alert the public of how they could vote for our new water tank.
Well, thank you. What Director Garcia is referring to is, as you know, we have the new water tank in basically online now, helping supply the water to our system, and we've been entered into a Tank of the Year, I guess, voting award. So that's out there. When we got it this morning, I think we were in 4th in the country, and there's a significant number of tanks that were completed and that are in this particular contest. But Director Garcia told me earlier, or sent me a email earlier, that she was able to go on and vote, and at that time we'd moved to number 3. So we're gonna win the Tank of the Year contest, and we'll be getting that information out on the city's website, cityhs.net, and we'll put a link to the page where you can go in and vote. So very proud of that. Greg Johnson with Chris is in with us tonight, and those guys did just a phenomenal job on that tank, and all of those, Todd Pillar and all of our crews. So we're very proud of it. I think it's something the entire city should be proud of. It really did change the skyline. One of the things that I never really realized, I've lived here my whole life. The other day, I was coming across the second bridge coming back into town on 7 South and looked over and saw the tank, and it was so far to the right. You couldn't really fathom that the tank was over there because you think it should be there.
There's not a straight road in Hot Springs.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And I think that voting has to be in by October 16th.
I think you're correct, but we'll get all that information out on the website. And I think last week we got the up lights on the tank, so if you're out at night, you'll be able to see it. And really looks good. You guys did a really good job.
Let's not tank this contest.
Mr. Mayor, this is Randy Foley. I'd like to remind the public that early voting, and please correct me if you have a different date on this, early voting starts October 19th. And so we have some new facilities in town that are accommodating the early voting, one of them being the convention center, which is a large space where people can responsibly distance themselves. And so I would encourage you, the Election Commission has, I think, 3 more spots this year than they've had in the past. So they're trying to spread out the voters for them to be safe. And I would encourage voters to get out and vote soon. I won't say soon and often, I just say soon, and get it done. Thank you.
Very, very good. Thank you. On the tank, can we vote early and often, Bill?
I believe you can. I think it says 1 vote per person, but I don't know if that means 1 vote per day. Mail it in.
Stuff it.
If
Or
you
1
like.
vote per device or something, yeah. Okay,
Get a different IP address and you're good.
we're good.
There you
yeah.
go.
All right, well, we shouldn't talk that way during election year. Okay, any other directors' announcements? We'll move on to the consent agenda. These are of routine nature and generally do not merit discussion. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So move.
Got Director Weatherford, seconded by
Second.
Director Garcia. All in favor of the consent agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is adopted. Now, we moved one item from the consent agenda to be the first item under new business. And so at this time, we'll consider Resolution R2144 and ask this city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R20-144, a resolution approving a budget transfer and approval of a contract for the repair of a stormwater drainage system located at 3539 Central Avenue, Hot Springs, Arkansas. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director Garcia, seconded by Director
Second.
Weatherford. Yeah. And Danny McFate will provide the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Recent rains and subsequent investigation by staff.
Did everybody go on mute?
Pardon? Director Foley?
Yeah, I'm not sure they can hear us in there.
Oh,
I have to speak directly.
Can you hear me?
Danny, you might need to.
Hello,
Can those at home hear?
green light's on.
Out here.
Do it again. Are those at home able to hear?
No.
That's a trick answer.
Test them, Mayor.
Pardon?
You know, see if they can hear us. don't know if it's just this mic or that mic.
I can hear
me now?
you. Can you guys hear us out here?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe we're good to go again.
Can you hear me, Director Garcia?
Repeat yourself, Denny.
Director Garcia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. We're good to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Speak into the mic, please.
Recent rains and subsequent investigation by staff has revealed a drainage pipe collapse located on private property of 3539 Central Avenue. Two 42-inch plastic pipes have failed and causing water to flood Central Avenue at its intersection with Franklin Street. The flood frequency in recent weeks has occurred several times per week and requires the complete closing of Central Avenue. The property owners at this location state that they do not have the funds to cover the needed repairs. RDOT's position is that it is a private property issue and they cannot fund projects on private property, even if it serves their right-of-way. The engineering cost estimate to replace the existing failed piping is $276,400 in construction costs and $9,200 in engineering cost, for a total project estimated cost of $285,400. Due to the extreme effect on local properties, vehicular traffic, citizen safety, and the costs associated with stalled-out cars because of high water, the city wishes to exercise its annual service contract, ASC, for construction, labor, and equipment with Coakley Company of Hot Springs to execute this work. The city manager has stated an emergency exists and that to expedite and make needed repairs has directed staff to make immediate plans and procurements to address this drainage failure. In order to save costs and time through a bidding process, staff's intent is for the city to purchase the culvert and junction box material ourselves and to exercise the ASC for construction, labor, and equipment to Coakley Company of Hot Springs. Additionally, due to the time constraints, staff has contacted the only two known vendors for the culvert material, which is Forterra of Little Rock and Scarlock Industries of Fayetteville, and quotes have been received from both vendors. Scarlock Industries has the lowest price quote and can supply the junction box material and culverts within two weeks. The material quoted without taxes is approximately $59,000. However, this range could change slightly once final engineering drawings are completed. So staff is seeking board approval for this proposed purchase from Scarlock. Therefore, staff recommends the Board of Directors approval of the purchase of the junction box and culvert material from Scarlock Industries of Fayetteville. Staff also recommends a budget transfer in the amount of $285,400 from the stormwater fund balance into the stormwater drainage improvement account 5809. And finally, staff recommends approval of a contract with Coakley Construction for a not to exceed budget constraints. These funds will be transferred from the stormwater fund balance to the drainage improvement account 5809. Any questions?
Mayor, I would like to state, when we use that term transferred, I had somebody ask this question earlier. When we use that term in this sense, it's not transferring from one fund to another fund. This is being paid out of our stormwater fund balance. Maybe a correct term would be allocating that amount into our budget to be able to be spent on this particular repair. But it is not changing a fund from one fund to another. This is the stormwater fees that are paid by those that live and work and have a business in Hot Springs.
Mr. Mayor, if I could speak to this, I ask that this be put on the consent agenda at the request of one of my constituents. They did not understand why we were able to condemn property for the water basin in the Whittington Valley area for a water reservoir during floods, and why we didn't need to transfer money for that, whereas in this project we needed to. So, Bill, can you address that?
Yes, sir. At the beginning of the year, the board adopted a budget. That budget has certain capital improvements as well as operating amounts for each one of the departments that the city has. The stormwater fund, those particular projects that you were referring to with the flood mitigation, primarily on Water Street, Those were budgeted in the 2020 budget. This particular project that we're bringing tonight was not budgeted, and that's why it's necessary. It's above my spending authority of $60,000, but even with that, is something that needs to come to the board because we did not budget it at the beginning of the year. This is an emergency repair, so we need to basically allocate funds into our budget to be able to use that money to be able to make the necessary emergency repair at this location.
And Bill, just to follow up on that, when you say it's not budgeted, that doesn't mean that there's not funds available for this. It was just in cash on hand. It had not been allocated. This is a fund balance that's not dedicated to anything else, and so you're asking to be able to utilize that for this emergency.
That is correct.
The stormwater fees, what's the annual collection of that? What does that amount to?
It's just a little over 700,000 per year.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions of Mr. McFate? Thank you.
Thank you.
I know this was on the consent agenda, and as such, there wasn't an opportunity for anybody to sign up to speak on this issue. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this issue? Okay. Discussion amongst directors? Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Holliday.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Weatherford.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution's adopted. Now we'll consider Resolution R2146 and ask City Attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-20-146, a resolution awarding a bid to K-Jax Contractors, Inc. for the finished water transmission pipeline project, Contract A, new water treatment plant to Highway 7. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director
So moved.
Clark, seconded by Director Jones, and Mr. Todd Pillar, Engineering Project Manager, will provide the staff overview. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. We took bids on September 15th, and K-Jax Contractors of Little Rock was the low responsive bidder. This is Contract A. As far as I know, we're up to G. So this is first of many planned contracts for our finished water line. And the K-Jax bid was an amount of $4,431,775, and they were the low of 11 bids were received. Based on the Chris Engineers certified bid tab and their letter of recommendation, we decided to give the contract to K-Jax. This is be the first contract that goes from the 33 acres that we purchased off of Amity Road, actually Little Mazarn Road. It goes down Little Mazarn Road, crosses over Amity Road, and then it goes down Thunder Road and goes down Albright Road to hit the Highway 290, the 12-inch line that we put in with the widening project of Highway 7 South. So this contract will be funded out of a couple different funds, both water bond funds. We decided as staff to use up the remainder of the 2018 water bonds, which that amount will be $2,824,775,000. And out of the board-approved 2020 water bond funds will be $1,607,000. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Pillar? Hearing none? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Anyone
and everybody vote.
Yeah. Anyone sign up to speak on this issue?
No, sir.
No. Thank you. Discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Clark. Aye. Weatherford,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Folly,
Aye.
Holliday, Director Holliday,
I can't hear you.
thank you. Mayor McCabe,
Aye. Resolution is adopted. I will consider Resolution R2147. Ask the city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R20-147, a resolution adopting the 2020 comprehensive plan titled HS 2040 Forward Hot Springs. I conclude your reading, Mayor, if you would entertain the motion of the secretary.
Mr. Mayor, I believe we're having mic problems again.
Okay, thank you.
We cannot hear.
Can you
We've
hear
been
me?
having them all night.
Can you tell me what part you couldn't hear so we can check that mic?
We can hear you now.
See if I can hear you.
Director Foley, can you hear me?
Yes, just barely.
Maybe the problem.
Get into the mic.
Kathy, say something in the mic. Say something. Good evening.
I think with these mics, you really got to get close.
All right. Well, just keep us posted and let us know, and then we'll stop and try to project more and get closer.
Okay, that's much better. Thank you.
Very good. At this time, we'll have a staff report from Ms. Selman, Planning and Development Director, on Resolution R2147. Director Selman.
Thank you. Forward Hot Springs is filled with ideas from hundreds of participants whose overall desire is to live good lives in great neighborhoods in a great city. And they've told us, and we agree, that Hot Springs can be that great city. We've put together some ideas to get ourselves there. But first of all, I want to thank the Board of Directors for funding a comprehensive plan update to take the city forward. Thanks also to Hot Springs and Garland County departments, agencies, and elected officials who generously shared their time to help frame the plan's direction. Thank you to the major employers, school administrators, development professionals, neighborhoods, civic group representatives, Hot Springs young professionals, and many longtime residents who generously shared what they know and value about Hot Springs. And I want to especially thank several families whose children participated too. They're the ones who will really benefit from this. And enormous thanks to Aaron Street and Katie Yamauchi, our gifted public information officers. A year ago, we had no idea that Forward Hot Springs would need to have a blog and a YouTube presence, but with COVID, well, you know. Forward Hot Springs began in June of 2019 with Envision Hot Springs, a deliberate public engagement effort for city residents, staff, and stakeholders who participated throughout the project. We had interactive citywide workshops, targeted workshops with residents and stakeholders of the Gateway District and Four Corners neighborhoods, 2 online opinion surveys, interviews with nearly 24 key stakeholders, focus groups representing key issues, and of course, the blog and YouTube. Thanks to the voices of Hot Springs, who we will now identify as Bill Burrow, Lance Spicer, Gary Troutman, Gene Wallace, Rick Stouter, Denny McFate, and Robin Wise, who enthusiastically provided the soundtrack to the 8 YouTube videos that introduce and then tell the stories behind the plan's themes. The themes came right from our neighbors, local business people, and civic leaders who told us Hot Springs can be an even more dynamic, prosperous, and enjoyable place to live. They said Hot Springs is special. We want to promote a built environment that reflects Hot Springs, its unique landscape and culture, by providing better housing choices and urban design, by preserving and promoting character, by protecting historical assets, by providing walkable streets and adequate parking, and through equitable access to common goods and services, as well as public facilities.
Let me pause you there. Directors who are remote, are you catching all of Ms. Selman's report?
Most of it, but it's really faint.
Yeah,
Really
she
faint?
faded out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you almost have to eat the top of the microphone.
All right, I'm going to do it. Is that better?
No,
No.
sorry.
I think we may have a loose wire in the control room.
Okay.
We'll have to have that repaired. I think all of our mics are doing it.
Would you like me to proceed?
Please.
Yeah, just scream it out.
Earlier comprehensive plans look toward new development, often at our fringes, to bring additional revenue to help stabilize our community. Meanwhile, older areas became disinvested. Vacancies continued to rise, bringing unwelcome problems to our legacy neighborhoods and to downtown. For decades, despite annexation, city population stagnated. While downtown began a renaissance of its own following the Majestic Hotel fire, surrounding residential neighborhoods continued to languish and in some instances to decline dramatically. The draft plan focuses new attention and priorities on reinvestment in the near downtown neighborhoods. Forward Hot Springs as a starting point. Our city is known as the home of baseball spring training. Maybe Yogi Berra's advice rings especially true as we confront Hot Springs' future. If you don't know where you are going, you'll end up someplace else. We can reassess specific implementation steps, timing, and costs as we go. Implementing plan goals will require separate budget, policy, and ordinance decisions in the future. While the plan sets certain goals and activities, the document does not bind this or any future board of directors. Planning Commission duly advertised and conducted a public meeting at the regularly scheduled meeting September 3rd, 2020. After calling for testimony, and there wasn't any, and considering the record and the draft of Forward Hot Springs, Planning Commissioners voted 9-0 to recommend that the Board of Directors approve a resolution adopting Hot Springs 2040 Forward Hot Springs.
Very good. Thank you.
Mayor, before we go into discussion, after the reading of this resolution, we had some discussion about the mics, and I don't think that we ever got to a point where Ms. Morrissey was able to record a motion and a second to adopt. So prior to any further discussion, if we could receive a motion and second to adopt.
All right.
So moved.
Yeah. Director Foley made the motion, seconded by
Second.
Director Garcia. So we have a motion and a second. Very good. So we had our report from the staff, and I don't believe we have anybody who has signed up to speak on this issue from the public. If you have, if you would like to speak on this issue, please come forward. At this time, we'll have discussion amongst directors. Any discussion amongst directors?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr.
I would like to commend Kathy Selman for shepherding this study and listening so well to our community. I'm thrilled that we're going back to the neighborhoods and revitalizing those. They are the basis of the downtown, especially, even in the downtown task force. It was shown that a revitalized neighborhood surrounding the downtown was necessary for a vital downtown. And so I want to congratulate Kathy on a job well done. And I hope people read the entire document. It's really a very good document. It gives great guidance to where the board ought to go next. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind comments. Any other discussion items or comments from directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Clark.
Aye.
Weatherford.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Foley. Director Foley.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. All of a sudden, the mics got really loud. Now we'll move on
Yeah,
to...
but I still hardly hear you. I'm gonna have to get hearing aids before this is over with.
I'm going to have to get hearing plugs. You're so loud.
All right, man.
No, you keep talking because we'll all be able to hear. So we'll go ahead with an ordinance 020-44, and in order to move forward, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So moved.
Director Clark, seconded by Director Garcia. All in favor of the motion to suspend the rules and read by title only, signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, same sign. Please read by title.
Ordinance O-20-44, an ordinance approving the Hot Springs Solid Waste Schedule of Rates and Charges and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director Weatherford, seconded by
Second.
Foley.
Director Clark. And we have a,
I'll handle this one, Mayor.
pardon?
I'll handle this item.
Yeah, Mr. Bill Burrow, City Manager, will provide a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Staff recommends approving the ordinance to establish the schedule of rates to maintain services for solid waste disposal within the city of Hot Springs for 2021 and future years. The proposed schedule of rates would begin on January 1, 2021 and continue through December 31st, 2025, with a schedule to maintain the rates from January 1st, 2026 and thereafter to include incremental increases for certain commercial services provided by the Solid Waste Department. Residential rates are set to remain at $19 a month for a 96-gallon container for the duration of the schedule. Residential customers also receive curbside recycling service at no charge and 2 no-charge collections of caps, our Clean Attractive Property service, which allow residents to place bulky items like household appliances, couches, mattresses, brush, etc. on the curb for disposal. The commercial service rates included in the rate schedule calls for a 2% annual increase for commercial dumpsters. Also, construction roll-off dumpsters are set for a $10 increase every other year, which is the first rate increase to be proposed for this service since 2015. The Solid Waste Department has undergone a few changes that have had an impact on the department, contributing to the proposed rate adjustments. The city began hauling its waste to the Republic Services landfill located in Saline County in place of Waste Management's Two Pine landfill located in Pulaski County. Under the 5-year agreement negotiated by the Southwest Central Regional Solid Waste Management District, the haul fee increased from $17.49 per ton to $19.25 per ton. An added benefit, though, has been saving approximately 60 miles on the round-trip route, which allow for additional loads to be hauled to the Saline County site. Also in 2019, the city took sole responsibility for the funding and management of the recycling center located on Runyon Street from the Southwest Central Solid Waste Regional Solid Waste Management District. Previously, the expense of operations was a shared cost of the district members that used the recycling center. However, that agreement ended in mid-2019. The City Solid Waste Department provides environmentally sound and cost-effective waste management services for collection, processing, and disposal. These employees proudly serve customers by providing them with a myriad of programs and services that effectively and efficiently manage municipal solid waste generated within the City of Hot Springs. The proposed rate schedule maintains the high level of service that both residential customers and commercial customers have come to expect, while providing rates sufficient to cover the labor and capital expenses required for a full-service operation. Mayor, I'll be glad to answer any questions if there are any.
Very good. Any questions of Mr. Burrow? Hearing none. Is there any member of the audience that would like to speak on this issue? Thank you. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Weatherford.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Foley. Director Foley.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. This time we'll consider ordinance 02045. In order to proceed, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So move, Mayor.
Director Garcia,
Second.
seconded by Director Jones. All in favor of the motion and second to suspend the rules and read by title only signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance O-20-45, an ordinance amending ordinance number 6347 to include an additional 0.126 acres to the area previously assigned planned development zoning for HJ trailer sales located at Albert Pike Road and Hicks Circle. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
So move.
Director Clark, seconded by Director Jones. And the staff report will be provided by Harmony Morrissey, the city clerk.
Thank you. This item is actually a matter of housekeeping. At the September 1st board meeting, Ordinance 6347 was passed that approved planned development zoning for HJ trailer sales at 808 Albert Pike Road. The initial application submitted included a survey, 3-page narrative, and site plans. All of these included a depiction of and plans for the 4 parcels owned by the applicant and indicated as the future site for HJ trailers. Specifically, the survey completed by Mr. Ken Sperlin of Arkansas Boundaries depicted the boundaries of all 4 parcels. However, the legal descriptions omitted the legal description of one of the parcels. The proposed ordinance before you now would amend Ordinance 6347 by including the legal description for this additional tract of land, the 0.126 acres that was inadvertently omitted from the legal descriptions in the original survey. And we do have Mr. Aaron Burrows and Mr. Trey Johnson here with us tonight if you have any questions.
Very good. Any questions of Ms. Morrissey? Any questions of Ms. Morrissey? Hearing none. Would Mr. Burrow or Mr. Johnson like to speak on this issue? Not required, but Mr. Aaron Burrows,
Yes,
welcome.
I think it was, Harmony made it pretty clear, but initially we had talked about not including that one small piece of land in the development, and Ken Sperlin drew up the survey accordingly. We then decided to go ahead and include it. All of our plans included that small piece of land in the northeast corner. We thought it was included, and it wasn't until it was actually approved and they went to draw the maps that we realized that that little piece in the northeast corner had not been included. And so the process seemed the correct way to fix it was to do an amendment to the zoning application. And so we've included, but it was always intended to be included. There was just a miscommunication early on that wasn't corrected as we moved through the process and was caught after we were approved. So it was always intended to be included. I don't think is there any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else want to speak to this issue from the audience? Discussion amongst directors. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Garcia.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Holliday. Director Holliday.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Weatherford.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. We have 2 remaining action items for the evening. The first of those 2 is consider ordinance 020-46, and I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So move, Mayor.
Director Jones.
Second.
Seconded by Director Garcia. We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is approved. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance O-20-46, an ordinance approving manufactured home overlay, MHO, at 307 Omega Street and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. Please entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So move.
Director Jones, seconded by Director Foley. And Kathy Selman, Planning and Development Director, returns to the microphone.
Thank you. The applicant is Brittany Lewis, and She is seeking approval of manufactured home overlay at 307 Omega Street, which is approximately 0.18 acres of undeveloped residential property. It's zoned R4. The property is bordered on all sides by developed and undeveloped R4 medium-high density residential zoning.
Gone again.
The property is adjacent to manufactured home overlay across Omega Street to the west. The applicant makes an excellent case for her application by saying affordable housing makes favorable zoning of manufactured housing even more critical, as it has more affordability advantages over traditional housing. I am a single-family working-class minority in search of affordable housing. The positive effects that manufactured housing brings shows on land development and property values. The Planning Commission duly advertised and held a meeting on September 3rd, 2020, for the purpose of considering the request. After calling for testimony and considering the record, Planning Commission unanimously accepted the staff report findings and recommendation to approve the ordinance establishing manufactured home overlay zone for 307 Omega Street.
Very good. Any questions of Director Selman from the board?
Yep, I have one.
Director Clark.
Yes, thank you. Are there any code restrictions on age of mobile homes?
There are, and the home must be manufactured 1994, October or later.
Does that change over time, or is it?
It does not. That was the date of adoption of the most recent HUD code that made substantial changes to the minimum requirements in manufacturing these homes.
Thank you. Any other questions of Director Selman?
But so this could be a 1995 manufactured home brought in?
Under the code, yes, it could.
Thank you.
Do we have any members of the public that would like to speak on this ordinance? Any discussion amongst directors? Please call the roll.
Director Foley.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Jones. Director Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Weatherford.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe. Aye. Ordinance is adopted. Our final action item of the evening is to consider ordinance 020-47. And I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So
moved.
Well, we got Director Foley and Director Garcia. All in favor of the motion and second to suspend the rules and read by title only signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion is approved. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance O-20-47, an ordinance accepting the annexation of certain territory, property ID 111418, located on 7.89 acres at Roberts Ridge Street and Ridgemont Circle, to the City of Hot Springs, Arkansas, making same a part of the City of Hot Springs, assigning said lands to a zoning district, assigning said lands to a board district, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director Foley, seconded by
Second.
Director Clark. And the staff report will be provided by Harmony Morrissey, our city clerk.
Thank you. The petitioner is Mr. William Willis. He's requested the annexation of his property, nearly 8 acres, located off of Roberts Ridge and Ridgemont Circle. The property is contiguous with the city limits on its western border at Roberts Ridge. Though the petitioner's property does not abut Roberts Ridge, it is accessed from that street via a permanent easement granted by a neighboring property owner. If annexed into the city, police, fire, solid waste, etc., would be serviced from Roberts Ridge as well. The property would also be assigned an address of 220 Roberts Ridge. The county judge held a duly advertised public hearing on August 18th, after which Judge Mahoney granted a degree of annexation for the petitioner. The 30-day waiting period has now passed with no parties objecting. The city clerk's office has coordinated with Arkansas GIS. The petitioner chose not to file an application for initial zoning with the Planning Commission. Rather, he supports the property being given the default zone assignment of R1. Should the annexation be granted, District 6 would be the most proper district assignment for this property. And Mr. Willis is here with us this evening if you have any questions of him.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Morrissey? Any questions from directors for Ms. Morrissey? Hearing none, would the applicant like to come forward and speak? Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Holliday?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Weatherford?
Aye.
Garcia?
Aye.
Foley?
Aye.
Mayor McCabe?
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. This concludes the action items for the evening. At this time, we'll entertain Board of Directors items for discussion. Any director have items for discussion? All right, we're quiet for the evening.
What?
Director Jones.
All right, Mayor, I'm ready. You know it's time to go vote. I want everybody to go vote now. It's bothering me that it seems like it's going kind of slow. People are calling my house and I just put them on do not disturb now. Because if they're not ready, I'm not ready for them to call me. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn for the night.
We have a motion by Director Jones to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh, that was Director Weatherford jumps in for a second.
Yeah.
Thought we were going to be here for a while longer. All right, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Good night.
Opposed?
Good night. Thank you.
Bye. Good night. We are adjourned.